What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Zero Lab. Today, we're taking a look at the two new EX cards coming out in the Mythical Island mini set that is coming to Pokémon TCG Pocket in just a few days. These are the two EX cards that we know of so far, and they're pretty cool. One is certainly better than the other, and we'll get to that next, but we're going to start off with this Aerodactyl EX here. It is a Stage 1 Fighting-type Pokemon with 140 HP. It evolves from the old Amber Trainer card, has the ability Primeval Law. Your opponent can't play any Pokemon from their hand to evolve their active Pokemon. And then it has Land Crush 480 for a fighting and a colorless energy. So it also has one retreat cost, and it's weak to lightning. A few things to note about this card. Sadly, I don't think that ability is super relevant. It is fairly easy to just evolve on the bench in TCG Pocket and then play an X speed or something to retreat out of the active and then bring up the evolution Pokemon you're going to be attacking with. One thing that this sort of shuts off, though, is a lot of times you see sort of like Wheezing Loop decks. This card is going to be really, really good against like Wheezing Wigglytuff, which is a really fun deck that I enjoy in TCG Pocket. It's going to prevent you from evolving in the active. Often you're going to be using Coughing, turn 1 going second, evolving up into Wheezing, using that ability to poison your opponent's Pokemon. Then you want to Koga Loop those, and you play Koga, send up the other Coughing, evolve it into Wheezing. Primeval Law is going to shut off your ability to do that. So I think this is a pretty big counter to Wheezing decks and those decks that want to use Wheezing to loop Koga to, buy some time to set up some other attackers on the bench. I do think Aerodactyl is going to be pretty good against the Wheezing decks. Obviously, it also hits weakness on the Wheezings with that Land Crush attack. Not quite enough to knock them out without playing a Giovanni, but certainly very strong. Other than that, though, I'm not sure that the Aerodactyl is going to see too much play. I think it's a pretty good fighting type. It does, just doing 80 damage for 2 is fine. Marowak does 80 plus 80 more if you flip, or 80 for each heads when you flip 2 coins for the same attack cost, essentially. So I think Marowak probably is on the whole maybe a little better. It's hard to know. When you hit double tails on Marowak, it's really sad, but when you hit double heads, it's really sick. Evens out at 80. Maybe the Primeval Law ability is good enough on the Aerodactyl to warrant just playing Aerodactyl over Marowak. But the Aerodactyl is going to be a little bit harder to get out than the Marowak because you can't use Pokeball to find the old Amber. So that's the only thing that's going to make Aerodactyl, I think, a little bit worse than Marowak. But the other EX card that we have coming out in this set is super impactful, and that is the Mew EX. This Mew EX is a basic Psychic-type Pokemon with 130 HP, has a Psy-Shot attack for 1 Psychic Energy and does 20. And then the big selling point of the Mew EX, the Genome Hacking attack for 3 colorless energy. Choose one of your opponent's active Pokemon's attacks and use it as this attack. This is super strong, and I expect most decks to be playing one Mew EX. The fact that, or at least one Mew EX, the fact that this is attacking for colorless energy means you can use it in every single deck. And just think of the applications of this. Every single deck now has a counter to Mewtwo EX because Mewtwo EX has an attack for 4 energy, does 150 damage. Mewtwo EX has 150 HP. You now have something that can one-shot a Mewtwo EX. You just power up the Genome Hacking and attack into the Mewtwo EX with its own attack and knock out the Mewtwo EX. And the cool thing about Genome Hacking for right now is there's, like on the Mewtwo EX, it would say discard 2 Psychic Energy from this Pokemon. We're going to have to figure out how this works in TCG Live, but if you're playing Mew EX, let's say in a deck where you're playing Water Energy, you don't have any Psychic Energy attached to the Mew EX, which means you're not going to be discarding any energy because the attack specifically specifies discarding Psychic Energy, and if there's no Psychic Energy attached to Mew EX, you don't have to discard those energy. They could change that, but for now it seems you won't have to discard those energy. Another thing to point out about Mew EX, another great attack from Mew EX to copy is Charizard EX. Charizard EX, when it gets powered up in the game, there's not very much that one-shots it. Let's say you're playing a Mewtwo EX deck with Gardevoir. Your Mewtwo EX is not going to be one-shotting that Charizard EX when it comes into play. However, the Mew EX can use that Genome Hacking attack to copy Charizard EX's attack that does 200 damage and one-shot your opponent's Charizard EX. And once again, the Charizard EX's attack says to discard Fire Energy. And if you don't have any Fire Energy on the Mew EX, you're not going to have to discard any energy, and you're all set to use Genome Hacking again on the next turn. So there's going to be tons of applications for this card. I think it's a great Mew 2 EX counter for a lot of decks. It's a great Charizard EX counter for a lot of decks. And I just think this card is going to be good for as long as it is legal in standard TCG Pocket. It's always going to be good to have a splashable attacker that can copy your opponent's attacks for 3 colorless energy. So pull your Mew EXs as fast as you can. This is going to be a great card for competitive Pokemon TCG Pocket. I can't wait for Mythical Island to come out. Hopefully you're excited as well. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you guys in the next video.